Hi, I'm Pam East, and today we're going to talk about enamel and bubbles. Bubbles are like enamel enemy number one. It is awful. So what happens is if you have little bubbles in your enamel, it will make the enamel appear cloudy. If they're really tiny bubbles, the bigger the bubble, then it becomes a visual flaw. But either way, you don't want any bubbles in your enamel. There's a lot of methods for getting rid of bubbles, and you can find that in my other videos. However, today I'm going to talk about ClearNamel. And ClearNamel is a wetting agent. What it does is it reduces the surface tension of water. And when you reduce the surface tension of water, it can't hold a bubble. Bubbles are all about surface tension. So we're going to use this to apply the enamel so that we don't get bubbles in our enamel. To start with, I'm going to mix up the ClearNamel. Now it's concentrated in the bottle, and so you don't need that much of it. It's going to be 2 parts distilled water to 1 part ClearNamel. So I'm going to go ahead and, actually I think I still have a little too much there. And I'm going to just add like that. So you want it diluted. 2 parts water, 1 part ClearNamel. And I'm also going to prepare my enamel. Now notice I never put the ClearNamel directly in the enamel because it would be too much. You need very little of this. And I'm going to give this a little rinse. This has already been screened for clarity. That's another thing that helps with bubbles, is removing fines. I have another video on screening enamels here on Cool Tools. And I'm just going to give this a rinse so that any fines that are still clinging to the grains get washed off. And then I'll pour off the excess water, and then it'll be ready to use. You want to leave it a little bit watery. When you are applying enamel with your brush, the brush should penetrate the enamel. If it's gliding over the top, it's too dry. But you do want to be able to pick it up, little bits of it. All right, so the way I use this is I use it as the rinse water for my brush. I'll start by putting some on the surface of the metal where I'm going to be applying my enamel. I don't need to put a lot on. I'm not trying to flood the surface. I'm just trying to, again, make sure that there isn't going to be any surface tension. When I go to start using the enamel, I dip my brush in the ClearNamel solution, and then I'll pick up a small bit of enamel and I'll lay it in. And it should lay right down. You can see how that's laying down really nicely. If you find that the enamel is not coming off your brush or it's looking lumpy, then your enamel is too dry. If it just spreads out too far right away, then your enamel is too wet. I still have a little too much water in here. I'm going to take that off. And I'm going to continue applying the enamel. And as you can see, it lays down really smoothly. And every time I go to get another one, I rinse my brush in that water. And then I get another little scoop. And that's just enough of this wetting agent to make the enamel behave. And what ends up happening is, because it's releasing all of the bubbles, because the ClearNamel makes it so the water cannot hold bubbles, you end up with crystal clear enamel. And that's how you use this. That's all there is to it. When you're done and you're ready to dispose of rinse water, I never send that directly down the drain because it's got glass in it. What I'll do is I will pour it through a coffee filter, and the coffee filter will catch all the little grains of enamel, and which I can then throw away rather than sending them into my sink. And that is all there is to using ClearNamel.